In this video, we're gonna go over the infamous MEPS day. I'm gonna give you my tips to give you the best possibility to pass that day, as well as have an enjoyable experience. Anyway, stick around till the end to find out what was giving the recruits the biggest problems with the medical doctor. I was actually very surprised. It started making me nervous. MEPS is the rite of passage for military service, and the only way to pass MEPS is deny, deny, deny. No, totally kidding. Do not do that. Do not do that. Sorry, something in my eye. In order to have a successful trip to MEPS, it starts with your recruiter. Being completely honest with your recruiter about everything. His job is to want to get you into the Army or the military, not including the Space Force or the Coast Guard. Just kidding. Their job is to get you into military service, and they're gonna try to do everything they can to make that happen. So disclose everything with your recruiter, and they will dictate a course of action for you. For me, I had a lot of medical law violations that I needed to go through. I obtained all my medical records and just handed him a stack of paperwork regarding all my broken bones, all my law violations. With that information, he can create a course of action to set you up an appointment at MEPS. That way there's no surprises when you get to MEPS that day. And MEPS starts the night before. The Army is gracious enough to put us in a nice hotel. We get to eat some good food, play some video games. Take advantage of this time. Relax, talk to the recruits, just have fun. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything that's gonna jeopardize your next day. It's gonna be a very early day. The hotel is really nice and the rooms are very spacious. 99% of the time, you'll probably share a room with a roommate. You might be fortunate enough to get a room by yourself, but that's pretty rare. I happen to get a room by myself. The next day is gonna be around 4 a.m. You're gonna have breakfast early AF, and don't fill up too much where you're gonna need a nap at some point during the day. So have a good, clean breakfast and be ready to go. MEPS is a long day, there's no way around it. Make sure to shower. Nobody wants to examine a dirty mother flower. That credit goes to Team Shorts. You get to the MEPS building around 5 in the morning, a little bit before 5 in the morning, check into the lobby, and from there you'll be divided into the different branches of military service from the Marines, the Air Force, Navy, Army, and they'll send you up through screening. They'll check in all of your luggage. You won't have any personal belongings on you. You'll go through a room where you do a little bit of a brief about how to act, your conduct, rules and regulations, things to look out for, and they'll give you a folder that you'll take around everywhere. Keep your private information closed, keep it face down, don't let anybody else see it other than people that are examining you. From this point on, a huge tip I have is be courteous, be respectful, treat everyone that examines you like a human being, and be appreciative of their time. One thing I feel like that stood out was just being very amicable with those people. Hey, how's your day going? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for seeing me. I know there's a lot of people, so I appreciate your time. And that changes the whole tone. They do things for you that they don't have to. For example, my blood pressure was super jacked. I had way too much coffee and I was just nervous. I think from fear of rejection, but my heart rate was absolutely jacked. So when I saw the medical doctor, it was still pretty high. He didn't have to tell me, hey, listen, calm down, take a couple breaths, put yourself in a peaceful situation, and we'll do it again. He could have just given me the boot. And so I think establishing at least a little bit of a relationship instead of just being arrogant, egotistical, these people are here to serve me, changes the whole tone. Body language is another thing. I tried my very, very best to have the best body language, like I was very excited to be there. A lot of people around me just with this, just sloppy body language, and the doctors see that. You're on one floor, and so you're passing these familiar faces all the time. I started to get to know a lot of people in that building. Your MEPS stay is going to consist of waiting around. You'll get to watch some cool TV shows, some movies. I think we watched Sicario, iRobot, and you just wait. You'll do a vision test, you'll do a hearing test, they'll draw blood work from you, you'll do a urine test, and ultimately, if you've been honest with your recruiter, then you give them the same exact information to the MEPS doctors, and there's no hidden surprises. It's when things don't align that you didn't tell your recruiter something that you're telling now the MEPS doctor something that raises a red flag that says, this doesn't look right, and that'll stop the entire process. Or if you're not forthcoming about injuries that you've had in the past, that'll make you have to go back and get a waiver versus just getting it all done at the very beginning. MEPS really isn't a bad experience at all. I had a wonderful time both times I went. The first time was for my medical and the second time was to swear in. And even the second time I went, again, was very respectful to everyone I talked to, asking how their day was. And I ended up getting a $7,500 bonus and airborne contract that day, which I didn't get with my recruiters. And so there is a possibility to get even more than you expected just by being a nice person at MEPS. They were able to slot me into an airborne physical, which they didn't have to do. And I'm just really grateful for everyone at the Charlotte MEPS. I think they run a very tight ship. It's a very awesome group of people, and they want to get you in. They'll do what they can to get you in so long as you're being truthful and forthcoming.
As I was editing the video, I forgot to add what was giving the recruits the biggest problems at MEPS with the doctor. It was earwax. And it made me a little bit concerned because you have these 17, 18-year-olds with too much earwax in the ears. I'm like, dude, 35 years, what's these gonna look like? But I had no issues, thankfully. I've heard not to use Q-tips, but I've been using Q-tips my entire life, so I suppose if you've already started using Q-tips your entire life to clean your ears, it makes sense. If not, then they'll flush the earwax from it. Small little detail, check your ears.
I hope this helps, and if you have any questions at all about MEPS or anything like that, leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them. The previous video I did happened to do with triple waivers. I had to get a conduct waiver, criminal waiver, a medical waiver, and an age waiver. And so where there's a will, there's a waiver. And if you have any concerns about that, check out that video, and I'll see you next week.